Hi, everyone. As I've had problems with fair use and whatnot in the past, especially on the Watts, I don't want to do a very long video on this, but right now I am really focusing in on where did the attack on the Watts family begin? And as you have seen when I've went to that channel with the woman who looks like she's shocked by the words that come out of her mouth, as she should be, she really started the discussion where it is that the Rusiks are wonderful, Watts are bad, Watts are greedy. Okay, she started that. And as you have seen, I have started taking apart her videos or having therapy with her, like I like to consider it, to show that what she's saying has no basis in truth. The problem is that, she's got 130,000 idiots out there because then they are out there repeating what she's saying verbatim in chat groups all over the interweb. Okay? So, as I go and try and track this down, I noticed this. And this is from a Channel 9 news conference. You've probably seen it before. I would like to do it under fair use for the purposes of critique, commentary, education, possible new views, viewpoints, perspective. And what happens in this news conference pretty fast, within the first minute, in fact, is they introduce the POS from the Frederick Police Department, Sergeant Ian Albert. He's got a Prince Albert. So the POS from, I'll introduce, I'm just going to introduce you to this fuck. And he has sweat on his upper lip and his head. So, you just have to wonder, is that the lights or is it that he's nervous for what he's saying? Because I could really take apart what he says in this minute and see where this brought a lot of the hate towards the Watts. Now, the perspective that I am giving here. So the Watts lost as well. Okay? There were problems in this marriage from day one. They were thinking of divorce 2 to 3 months prior. This is documented. They should have gotten a divorce. We don't know what happened. Did Chris confess? Did he confess when he walked in on Shanann unaliving the girls? Or did he confess in Wisconsin when we don't get to see those words coming out of his mouth? We only see the picture of him. And never before, never again have taxpayers funded a whole team of Tamburglers to go out and interview somebody just because they wanted to just go and chat with them and bring them some chocolate milk and just talk about the good old days, talk about some other tough cases they've worked, and really wanted to see how he is. And at the end, he does the final thing where he admits that he can make anybody believe anything, just like he did to his teacher when he was young in elementary school. He doesn't want to be bothered. Whatever happened that night, he knows. Or he knows partially, based on what I believe. He has, even if he did everything, he still has a right underneath our United States judicial system to have a defense. He has an affirmative defense based on temporary insanity, based on the other information that has been brought forward. Had he have had a trial in the beginning, it may not be as good as the trial that could occur. All of the things that, pardon me just a second. I don't know what time. Half hour. I just tell you, people don't understand I'm a very famous YouTuber. So anyway, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted. The truth and the facts would not have been accurate because people weren't out there looking for them. The people who have done the work are not paid. They are not law enforcement officers. They are people like you and me who have went past the headline and said, this doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. This isn't true based on what I know. This isn't true from what I see, etc., etc. And so it has taken this long. And absolutely, under 35C, Christopher Watts can absolutely get a trial the second he wants it. But he has to decide that he's going to stand up on his feet like a big boy and do it. Because right now, he's hiding like a turtle. He's got his little head in his shell. He's got his head in the ground. And he's behind bars for life. He has nothing to lose by coming out and standing up to listen to a possible defense strategy that shows we don't know what was in the substances that was being given to him. That was given to him in excessive amounts based on what I can find out, what is recommended for the dosage of those silly stickers, and for as long as he was going without sleep. I have outlined before the sleep psychosis, etc., etc. I don't want to go in too far because this will probably get taken down by fair use. I'll get struck. So without too much more, I just wanted to show you this POS here at this news conference. And let me jump right in. And here we are. And as you can see, I was looking up, I was trying to find the Red Tree stuff. I've heard Red Tree has some good information, so I was looking at that. This right here is actually sourced straight from Channel 9 News. What I'm most specifically looking for, if anybody has any ideas, people tell me that the $10,000 that was missing was broken down by Red Tree, something Red Tree crime, Red Tree. I can't find it. The red collar. I don't know. Put it in the comments if you guys have suggested it because I want to check it out. The other thing that I'm really interested in is that when Shanann Watts went out to North Carolina for the 6 weeks, she went on 2 other vacations within that 6 weeks. I believe one was to Florida and one was to Virginia. If anybody has any information on those, can you guys put those in the comments or email me at tabithajane0@gmail.com. So here we go. And without further ado, here we go to this circle jerk right here. Let's see. Sausage party. Boom.
Deputy District Attorney Pat Roach, and from the Federal Police Department, Sergeant Ian Albert.
Did you just call somebody a cockroach? Look at that shit-eating grin you did, too. You called somebody a cockroach.
Sergeant Albert has been the PIO.
PIO, not POS. Oh, silly me.
I'll invite him up to say a few words, and then I'll comment about this morning. Sergeant Albert.
Oh, I thought they said it. Prince Albert piercing. Oh, sorry.
I'm only here to issue this.
Okay. All right. Toilet bowl cleaning man. What do you want to say? Tidy bowl. No, tidy bowl. Was that tidy bowl? That big old shiny ass. I wonder if he uses one of those circular that like rolls over the head that I've seen like Pitbull. Isn't Pitbull attractive? I think some men are attractive bald, but I don't find liars attractive ever.
This statement, upon doing so, my agency will not be conducting any interviews or answering any questions on the matter.
Okay, so does he say, I'm going to read this statement and then my agency will not be answering any questions or anything on the matter, or will now? Check this out. What does he say?
Good afternoon, thank you. I'm only here to issue this statement, and upon doing so, my agency will not be conducting any interviews or answering any questions on the matter.
Sounds like he's saying not, and he is reading from the script because the next bunch of bullshit that falls out of his mouth, listen to this.
On behalf of the men and women of the Federal Police Department, I would like to thank our fellow law enforcement agencies, the countless citizens, and all those who contributed to this title.
Okay, why are you so nervous, dude? Look at that sweat on your upper lip. Or is that bird poop? Are you just walking down the street and a bird like totally like pooped on your lip? When you exert gratitude for something truly done, that you believe that somebody did and you're exuding that gratitude, you look up and you put that gratitude forward. You don't read it from this thing. Oh yeah, thanks for the thank you for the. You look up and you're like, with gratitude, I express. And you just really pause on that because you're exuding that gratitude and taking a moment to really pause on the importance of that gratitude and what it holds within that statement. And he doesn't. That bothers me.
Investigation. It was a combined effort in serving justice today. In the names of Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. Today I am proud of the determination that was put forth by all those who worked with us on putting this man away. His deplorable actions were fought back vigorously by honest police work, coupled with the goodwill of caring and loving people.
Okay, what? Yeah. Uh-huh. When I said what, you looked up, didn't you? Did you cut yourself on your neck? What is that? A little razor rash, huh? Little burn? Okay. So, what did you just say? I don't believe any of it. You don't believe any of it. And that's why you're looking down, sir. I'm going to go back just a little bit so that we can absorb that one more time.
To this tireless investigation. It was a combined effort in serving justice today. In the names of Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. Today I am proud of the determination that was put forth by all those who worked with us on putting this man away.
Okay. What did you do? I read the whole freaking discovery. You interviewed Trent Bolt a lot. When you found out that you guys were screwed because Shanann Watts had the blood alcohol concentration of that of 3 times the legal limit to drive, y'all knew you're screwed. So that's why you had all of these interviews in place, that you went around to anybody who'd ever dined with Shanann to say, how much did she drink then? Which has no relevance on what happened that night. When she walked in and she was about to kick ass, and she did kick ass, she walked in, was in a fury. Look at it. It makes sense. The other things don't make sense. So what detective work did you do? What did anybody do? What detective work? Where is there any proof of anything? If Christopher Watts would not have opened his mouth, this might have been one of those things where you're like, did Shanann go and is this a parental kidnapping? Are they in, bumfuck Egypt? I mean, where are they? But he talked. And so you knew. So you might as well thank Christopher Watts for what he gave you in this, because there's no investigative skills. When there was one of the dogs that smelled possible decomp at the outside back door, wasn't it Tam Burglar who said, yeah, let's get another dog in? Yeah, the other dog didn't smell it. So let's just yeet that whole idea. You have no idea if there was accomplices. You have no idea. You have no idea what happened. Boo boo, please don't. Boo. Please don't walk on this. Please. Okay.
His deplorable actions were fought back vigorously by honest police work, coupled with the goodwill of caring and loving.
What did they have to fight? Christopher Watts was willing, accommodating, thankful, and obliging to you whenever you asked him a question. How did he fight? He'd go and throw himself on the ground and start kicking wildly up at you? No.
People. But most importantly, however, I want to send our thoughts and prayers to Frank, Sandy, Frankie Jr., and the entire Rissick family.
Huh?
I don't know if you will ever receive closure on this horrific act of evil. I just pray that our efforts have brought you all one step closer in doing so. Thank you.
Okay, you piece of shit. Hold on. I mean, POI. There you go. And see, this Rourke who is standing behind him mysteriously. I mean, this is a compromising position to be like in a picture of. Anyway. Why are we standing behind him like that? Why? I don't like it when a man stands behind me like that. Do men like it when a man stands behind him like that? I don't know. Anyway, he comes up and represents the Frederick Police Department, okay? And he looks down at this little script that he has and mumbles some shit, and then he says, here's all this, apology to the Rusicks. The Watts lost as well. The Watts lost their son to the system. He's in a cage for the rest of his life. And they lost their grandchildren as well. So, is he saying that because he knows that Bella is the only grandchild that they actually lost? Because does he know that there's DNA that shows that Cece wasn't full Watts? Nonetheless, they love Cece. Do they know that Nico wasn't? They did that paternal DNA, and we don't see the results in that discovery. If it was indeed Christopher Watts, why wouldn't the results of the paternity be in there? Oh, but the Rusiks say that it was positive for Chris to be the father. Really? Why would they have gotten those results? Why would the Rusiks have gotten the results of the paternal DNA? Wouldn't only the father have gotten those? And you think that Christopher Watts is calling up the Roos being like, hey, I am the baby daddy. We didn't think so at first, but what do you know? No, it didn't happen. Did somebody else who lives in their hometown, who was rumored to go and visit and sit at those graves every single afternoon, stop by and say, hey, I wanted to tell you there's more to this story, and this is what was truly going on, and I am the father. Did she just say that Chris was the father? She didn't say which Chris, right? Maybe that's it. Anyway, this started the, as the kids call it, shade. When you, I didn't understand that when people were like, you're throwing shade. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, how are you casting shade? Like, are you a tree or something? And you can twist the way the sun is and you can throw cool temperatures at people? No, I guess throwing shade. I seriously researched those. I was like, what are these youngins talking about years ago? And it's like, when you give somebody the side eye, you're throwing shade. So you're throwing shade. So in a sense, the term throwing shade is when you're kind of ignoring, darkening one side, casting light on the other. That's what happened here by this POS from the with the Prince Albert, what's his fucking name? Anyway, let's listen to what he said one more time here. He completely apologizes to the Rusiks and does not say to the Watts family, you have lost also, and thank you for your cooperation. We admire and respect your help in this matter, and we are sorry for your loss as well. That would have been the professional thing to do, but there was an agenda. There has always been an agenda. Now, when this happened, Christopher picked up the phone and said, I need you, Dad. And Paparani was on the plane. And there he was. When this happened, you got fucking, what's her name? Mama Roo, calling up them being, wow, I told him this was going to happen. I told him that Christopher was going to be throwing oil on him all the time. And you go watch because back there, we saw this right when we were planning the wedding. We were doing this, and the bridesmaids, the whole thing, they cross-contaminated the food. So my daughter did not have any food to eat. Thank God I had a trunk full of food for her. My daughter wouldn't have eaten that day. And so it's been just like that ever since. That family has been trying to do this, and I've been saying for a long time. Okay? That's what she did. She sat there on the phone, and when they did not call her back within the limited time that she thought, because then she'd go and do whatever she did. I don't know if she's working as a hair cutter at that time too. Oh yeah, she was. She was working at the salon that they went and interviewed. When they said that when Shanann was there with the kids, it was because Shanann had left her husband, and Shanann was getting a divorce. Those coworkers at the salon? I'm sure that Shanann went into the salon and got her hair done every freaking day, because why wouldn't you? If I had my mother working at a salon, I would go and sit my ass in a chair every day while I was out of town and be like, blow dry my hair, give me a blowout. But no, in my Cinderella story, I had to do my own mother's hair. And my sisters too, but I'd pull their hair too because sisters. I didn't pull my mom's hair, but I should have. But anyway, salons talk. And if you want to find out what's going on with somebody, go and talk to their stylist. Go and talk to the person who does their hair every so often. That's a confessional. You think that people go to these Catholic churches anymore and go and sit in the little vestibule and tell... No, they don't. They tell their hairstylist, colorist, otherwise beautician, exactly what the 411 is, as the kids say. 411 is for information. So, when they went and they talked about it, and she's like, yeah, Shania was here, and she's getting a divorce from her husband. Yeah, she left him, and when he came in, he was acting creepy AF. So they focus in on the fact that somebody said that Christopher was looking creepy, but they didn't listen to the whole thing as to why they were saying it. Because they said she was down there because she had left her husband. She was getting a divorce. She was getting a divorce. That was common knowledge. Okay? Until it didn't fit that narrative right away. So, at the press conference where this begins and this starts where we are now, 4 years later, where the Watts are seen as monsters, greedy monsters. And I'm doing my best to show that they are not. Now, if Christopher Watts is the father of all 3 of those grandchildren, why on earth wouldn't this POS have said to the grandparents, you have both suffered. You have both suffered an immeasurable loss. And thank you for bringing us to this peaceful conclusion together, where both of you decided that this was the best way to end a terrible situation, where we wouldn't have one more loss of life. Because that's what they wanted us to believe, except for when you talk to Cindy Watts. And you know what? Cindy Watts was prohibited, as was anybody, prohibited from giving... Well, you couldn't give Christopher Watts a letter, but you could send it, but they did not let Christopher Watts receive any mail until and after he had accepted the plea like a good boy. So he didn't know how his parents felt about this while this was going on. He didn't know that they were going to be there saying, hey, stand on your feet and fight. What do you have to lose? If you didn't do this, tell us what you did. If it did happen the way that I believe in the first confession and others believe, explain it. Give more fucking detail. Why not? You have nothing to lose. They didn't want Christopher Watts to have 1 ounce of courage. They played on his insecurities. They played on the way that he was emasculated. They played on him being an absolute prisoner of another person. They played on his Stockholm syndrome. They played on his PTSD. This was easy. This was a big case for them. They probably got a lot of federal dollars, when they were having everybody writing off. The less work they did, the more time they had to sit there and sit back, catch up on other things, because Christopher Watts provided no challenge to them, no matter what this POS says. So let's listen to this POS one more time. Throw the shade. Dude, you need a braces. I'm just saying.
To this tireless investigation. It was a combined effort in serving justice today. In the names of Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. Today I am proud of the determination that was put forth by all those who worked with us on putting this man away. His deplorable actions were fought back vigorously by honest police work, coupled with the goodwill of caring and loving people. But most importantly, however, I want to send our thoughts and prayers to Frank, Sandy, Frankie Jr., and the entire Rissick family. I don't know if you will ever receive closure on this horrific act of evil. I just pray that our efforts have brought you all one step closer in doing so. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Look at how weird this is, that picture right there with that. Like I say, if you're a man, do you like another man like coming up to you like that? Like you're almost like connected as one. like almost like dog mating. I don't know. I just feel uncomfortable with a man like being that close to me, but that's just me. So anyway, as I, do my work, trying to get to the bottom of it. And you know what? I've actually changed my handle, and it's going to be Backstory Tabby, because I like to really get the backstory, and I feel like I go down deep. I don't want to steal, because other people say that, they're going down the rabbit hole and everything. I'm like, no, I want to do the backstory. So I like getting the backstory. And I'm probably going to do another email with that, because the Tabitha Jane 0 seems to be really hard because it looks like a O, but the name Tabitha Jane had already been used. So, you do what you can. So anyway, let me know what you think about this. And I'm working on another longer project. I just thought I'd pop this one up. As you can see, families screaming for me and everything else like that. They don't understand. I'm a very famous YouTuber. So anyway, enjoy your Sunday night. I will put up something for you so you'll have it for Monday morning. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you soon. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I'm so close. I really want to get to 1,000, please. I'm at 963. To get monetized by YouTube, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. My watch hours, thanks to all of you, are almost 40,000. I need 4,000. Mine are at like 36,563 the last time I checked. That's because of you. That's because of the kindness that you guys all exude, and that you're being a part of the solution and not a part of the problem, pushing an agenda that no longer fits. Please like and subscribe. Get me to 1,000, please. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.